Hello and welcome to Dinis Guarda YouTube podcast series. I'm very excited to be here again and talking with global leaders and global makers that are creating new solutions for the problems we face in the world, and as well looking at how we can actually use technology to empower our society and to create new solutions, how to manage both innovation, how to manage new kind of directions and inventions, and as well financial inclusion and financial solutions, but as well how we can use technology for good, but as well at the same time creating both business models and solutions that can actually be taken in a lot of different directions. So our series has been growing quite big. We have right now over 150 interviews and people from all over the world. And today I'm particularly excited. I have someone that actually wanted to do this interview for some time. So I welcome Calvin. So I'll go a bit of a small introduction about Calvin. So Calvin is a very successful entrepreneur, investor, VC, and one of the biggest experts as well in blockchain technology in the world. In a lot of different areas, he's been working in particularly quite advanced areas of especially blockchain innovation and blockchain technology and VC. So Calvin is the general partner of Plutus VC and has been managing around $200 million plus blockchain and innovation fund. And is a serial entrepreneur and angel investor with many successes and achievements on his belt. Platforms and companies that are publicly listed, like Digital Hollywood 2017, and as well Retech, Citic Telecom, and a lot of other companies that have been done IPOs in different areas. And he manages right now the Plutus Ventures, which we're going to be talking, that is specially focused on investing in blockchain and technology companies worldwide. And Calvin has been the mastermind that controls a lot of as well cyber cafes in Malaysia, and has been actually creating a lot of organizations and companies like PC games publishers worldwide. Is a former veteran in the promotional advertisement industry, has won numerous awards and tenders from top international clients, like companies as big as Triumph and public banks. And as well, he's been as well working in various initiatives in the video gaming industry, and actually sold a couple of companies and worked on this area for a long time. And I think in terms of his biography, and we'll talk about it, he's been kind of always interested in innovation and both the conversion between digital and then from the digital and the gaming and the e-commerce has been going to blockchain, where it's been actually, I think it's very interesting to put on the box, but I think Calvin is quite unique that he's been having experience in digital media, e-commerce, social network, online gaming space, and then blockchain, crypto, and the new areas of decentralized finance and decentralized technologies. And I think he's as well, I think I want to just highlight some things, but for instance, prior to a lot of these things, Calvin was as well part of a team that successfully clinched a deal with World of Craft in China. And has been as well one of the top China entrepreneurs, and as well as someone that has been working between different areas, has been creating quite impressive achievements in all these different areas. So Calvin, it's really a pleasure to have you here, and I'm looking forward to hear from you and to discuss a couple of ideas.
Thank you for having me here today. Okay, so where would you like me to start first?
Yeah, I want to start with the beginnings. I always like to start with the beginning. So as someone that has a very international background, you've been between Malaysia and China and Hong Kong, but as well the world. So can you tell us a bit about how did you start all this entrepreneurial and as well these achievements, and when did you start? And wow. I think you can tell us a big background, because I think it's important to look, there's a lot of small entrepreneurs looking, and even me, I always like to learn with people like you, because we always learn, there's ideas we share and learn with each other.
Well, let's go back a little bit right at the beginning, is that in actual fact, I had, when I was young, I wanted to become a lawyer. Okay? And then there was once that my grandmother took me to see some lawyers that, lawyers have tons of work on their desks, and or don't look at them wearing jacket and coat, you know, but they don't make a lot of money. They just looks good. That was what my grandmother tells me. And then I go on and ask my grandmother, what should I be? He said, you should be an entrepreneur like your grandfather. Okay? Build a business and so on, and makes lots of money. You know, that's how Chinese parents teaches their son. You know, you got to do something that makes you a lot of money, right? So then I changed my mind to look into business. I started to become very entrepreneur back in my school days. I founded my school first computer club, and then I also link up all the school computer clubs together. So those were my early teens time that I went into this entrepreneur path. And I was back then, when I was 17 years old, I was featured in the main newspaper in Malaysia, as the Starlight, because I started a company at the age of 16 called Step One. So Step One at that time, it was our first step into the world of business. That's why my company was called Step One at that time. So we organized tea dance events and so on for teenagers, boys to meet girls and so on. It was this particular event company made me probably the richest kid in school. Okay. Yeah. So those were the start. Those were the beginning. And because of this beginning, I've always had the nose to smell where is the money in business. And so to cut short, I after graduated and so on, I looked for my first job. I went for like probably 40 interviews. I could remember around that. I got offers for like 20 over companies, and all the salaries that they were giving to me really sucks. I said, I told myself that, you know, after paying for the petrol, I probably could survive for 5 or a week more, and then that's it. And I have to ask my parents and so on for money, right? So then I told myself I have to select a first job that is going to be my stepping stone, that I can build the entire business from scratch for myself, right? I'm not going to work for people. So I work for advertising, a top 4A advertising company. Within 18 months, I formed my own advertising company, and that's where it all started. And later on, this advertising company, I left it to my third brother to manage, and I went to Hong Kong to embark into factories in China. We started 2 factories in China. Okay, but after 2.5 years, I just couldn't see myself. Every night, I asked myself this same question: can I envision myself as a factory owner? If people ask me, what business are you in? Oh, I'm in the production of and manufacturing of handbags. Shit, I say, that's worse than being a lawyer, right? Yes. So then I needed something. I needed a business that is cool and exciting and fun. So maybe going back into entertainment could be a good chance, or, you know, move into something that is cool. And that's where I found online games. So I practically signed up all the PC games rights for Malaysia at that time. And because I own all the rights, and if everybody do remember, behind every DVD or VCD, or even back then called Laserdisc, you have a small fine print, okay, that belongs to the Berne Convention, that practically states that you cannot use your VCD, DVD, or Laserdisc for public broadcast. It's only for home and private use only. So that means that every game that all the cyber cafes are using has violated the copyright of the commercial copyright. So that's where I went and grabbed, you know, all the rights for the most popular 2 games, that is Counter-Strike and Red Alert back then. So with these 2 copyright, practically I control all the cyber cafes in Malaysia. And it became a big thing in Malaysia back then, whereby every cyber cafes have to pay me a royalty. That's where I moved into the business of online games. And this business took me, where me and my partner, we sort of like went to China and brought World of Warcraft to China.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Yes. But China is not
at the time you were like 20, 21, so that you were a very young entrepreneur. That's impressive, yeah.
Yes. So China is not an easy market. China is not an easy market. I've been in China for 21 years already. 21 years in China. So that is, I can say that China is one of the most competitive market in the world.
It's the most competitive, I would say. Yeah, probably the most competitive.
Yes, no, for sure.
But it's really impressive. So I want to ask you one thing, because one thing I love Malaysia, and I've been working with Malaysia for a long time. And one of the things is that Malaysia has a very multicultural background, and Malaysia has as well a huge background Chinese entrepreneurs and Chinese culture, and actually Chinese population, which is one of the most dynamic there. So how was that part of growing up in Malaysia? Being Chinese, but as well having this network, and then going to China, to Hong Kong, which is at the time, of course, was when China was opening to the world and becoming the powerhouse that is now. But at the time, it was not that powerhouse. Hong Kong was, but not China. So you saw all of this as well, no?
So why did I choose China? At that time, you remember I said I went to Hong Kong to open up a manufacturing business in China. That was when I saw the difference between Hong Kong and Malaysia. Everything is in Hong Kong is fast-paced. You need to think fast, you need to act fast, and you need to grab opportunities fast. But back in Malaysia, we have a Malay saying that is esok, besok, lupa. So it's like when you want to do something, it's always like tomorrow, you know, or the day after tomorrow, the next thing, and then you forgot about it totally. So it's too laid back, you know. It's too laid back. Very, very unlike Hong Kong. So after Hong Kong, after I sold my factory shares and so on, after Hong Kong, I went back to Malaysia for a while, but I just find that Malaysia is too slow as compared to Hong Kong. So I had to choose a new place to go to. Either I'm going to the US or I go to China. So I selected China.
It's a great stuff, because you grew up with the opening of China to the world and all the technology revolution that was for China, because you saw all of that happening, because China started being the factory of the world to become actually the leading economy and technology power of the world.
In fact, I saw the rise of the internet age in China, whereby at the very beginning, it was the concept, the business model of copy to China. You copy whatever that's in the US and you bring it to China. So you have search, and then China will copy the search for the Chinese market, and so on. And to now, it is actually copy from China. Okay, China is starting to innovate new stuff that is totally not available worldwide, and such as the phenomenon of live streaming. Live streaming actually started in China.
And can you tell us about some of your achievements on that time? Because you took a couple of companies public and you create actually very big business, and it's really important. Now you're more well known as a VC fund and blockchain guy, but you did a fantastic background at there.
So it was not an easy path, for sure. We had a lucky strike because we took World of Warcraft to China. So I would really say that it was World of Warcraft success. It wasn't us. Anyone that have took WoW to China would have been successful, because the game itself is one of the best games in the world. But back then, you had doubt. Everyone had doubt whether World of Warcraft would be successful. So after World of Warcraft, I actually had a few failures, you know. So a lot of my friends and so on were saying that, you know, you need to reprove yourself again, right? Without Warcraft, would you still be able to succeed in China? So we were overconfident. We were overconfident. We thought that we had it, we knew everything about China, but we don't. That is the key, we don't, right? So I had a few failures. Example, one of my biggest failures, which I lost investors a lot of money. You know, my investors' faces were sour, and that was during the time when virtual worlds were at the most popular time. So I started my own virtual world company as well. We raised tens of millions of US together with my Finnish partner back then. And me, myself, I lost also 10 million of my own money back then. So these were the lessons learned that allows me to be able to be more prudent and better understand China. Okay? Everybody goes to China with the heart that they think that they can succeed. Actually, very little people can succeed in China. Okay? You need to really understand the market, what makes it takes, and so on. Okay? So I had my fair share of failures back then. So this has led to me to formulate new companies or invest into new companies that allows me to succeed in China. Okay? So the next project led me to be acquired. Next project that I did was acquired was back then was a mobile 3G comic. 3G were the hottest trend there. So and 3G needed content. So what do you put on content? So we formulated a mobile browser whereby you can click and it will flip different comics and so on. We licensed comic books from Marvel. We licensed comics from the Hong Kong comic industry, the Korean industry, and so on. And this company was eventually acquired. And later on, I joined the acquired company, Citic Pacific, and I became their senior vice president, helping them in charge of their new media innovation. And we also launched games companies from Citic, which were very, very successful. Later on, Citic sold the whole entire games and mobile arm to Tom.com, which is formerly was owned by Lee Ka-sing in Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so then after that particular exit, I started to do angel investment, right? So I believe that, okay, so now I practically understand how company works and so on. I managed to do an exit and I would be able to help other people do exits. But again, you know, failure knocks on your door. I took a few million US, invested into 20 over companies. And at the end of the day, after 18 months, you look at the 20 over startup that you invested in and they are almost dead. Almost every single one of them except 2-3 companies that is almost dead. So there goes my millions of US again, right? So you have to re-innovate. So with the last 2 million, I changed the formula of investment. Okay, and with that formula of investment, the last 30 companies that I invested in, whether or not the company died or they're still around, I make money from it. And this is a formula that I have been adopting until even today. It's a very simple formula. I don't mind sharing it because it takes you some skills to do it. So example, Dinis, you have a company, you look for me for angel investment. I'll come in, I'll put in $500,000 US or $1 million US into your company. But I have one term and condition, only one. And that is I get to exit 1/3, 33% at your next round. See? So very, very simple term. I only have one term. So with this particular term, my evaluation would not be on how I like your business anymore. Okay? Or how I like you as an entrepreneur, whether or not you will make the next Google. Right? So my evaluation would be, Dinis, are you able to raise Series A after my angel round? Because why? If I can and I believe and I can help you to raise Series A, I will get back all my money, including interest. And depending on how big your Series A would be. And then after that, Series B onwards is bonus. So my money always comes back within months of the investment. And this is exactly what I did back then. And 30 companies that I invested, not a single one that I lost money with, because I treat every single investment that I have to go in to help the company to raise their Series A. If they are successful in raising that, I get back all my money.
That's very smart and actually very intelligent. And I think
so out of the 30 companies, two of them managed to hit IPO, and that's the game, end game.
Wow, congratulations. I love that, but it shows as well your expertise, because you help the companies as well becoming more savvy in terms of getting more money and growing. So that's very impressive.
Because back then I had to think that, okay, you know, I'm not good in evaluating whether the guy is a good entrepreneur or not, and I probably sucks at looking whether his business model is good. I think it's good. I think they have a chance to become the next big thing, but you know, but history has showed that the last 20 companies that I invested all gone, right? So that's not something that I'm good at. So what am I good at? Okay. So I think every entrepreneur should look at what they are good at. So at that time, I knew that I was good at helping people raise money. Okay. I was good at modifying their business proposal and guiding them towards raising the right amount of money. So I should treat every investment as a business. Okay. Whether I can help the entrepreneur to make the next round funding, and then I exit 1/3, and I still have 2/3, right? So if he raised Series B, I can exit another 33%, and there's money in my account immediately, right? And the last 1/3 of whatever shares that I have, that will be for the future. If they have an exit, if they are acquired, that will be the big payout. But before that, I probably get the first payout and a second payout. That's how
I love that.
Angel investment
you should
is operated.
No, but you should actually coach a lot of people, because I think you're great teachers. I'm learning, because this is really, even for me, I think these details are what makes or kills a business. And as well, like you said, you learn the hard way, but that's what makes you so special, because you have that expertise that is quite unique.
Yeah, and I'm not shy about telling about that I did fail, right? I told
no,
twice.
Everyone fails, but most of people don't tell it.
In my life, I failed and I changed and I adapt. I think that's the most important thing, right? Only
amazing.
Yeah. So from then on, I believe that investment is a good way to build, to learn more, because I meet a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of smart people. Some people are even much smarter than me, you know, and so on. Younger generation people with brilliant ideas and so on. And as an investor, you see a lot, you learn a lot, and so on. And you can also, from the experience, because we put money into the companies, and some companies, even if we do not put money, we follow up whether are they able to be successful. And if they fail, we would like to know why they fail. At least I was telling myself that if one day, if I were to launch my own company again and become an entrepreneur, I would at least know one thing. What road that I take will definitely fail, right? Okay. So it wasn't until 2016 that my very good friend from JL, he's the managing director of a fund, a very big property fund, introduced me to Bitcoin. Right, that was in 2016. One day he sent me a WeChat message with a newspaper article that, hey, look, this guy raised funding using cryptocurrency. He says, maybe this is the future, right? Maybe this is the future. And then I look up what's Bitcoin. You know, I've heard of it before, but it wasn't until 2016 that I really looked into Bitcoin. And then my first impression of Bitcoin was, hey, I told my friend, this is a perfect scam. That was my first impression. Really. I said, you don't have a founder. You launch a token that goes up in value, just like that. And nobody can find who's the person behind it at all. Isn't that a perfect scam? I said, there's nobody for you to arrest if anything goes wrong. See? So that was my first perception. And until my friend came to Shanghai, we studied deep into Bitcoin, into cryptocurrency, into blockchain, that I suddenly realized within a month and a half that I told my friend, I'm taking back what I told you on my first impression of Bitcoin. This is another chance for in the internet space, right? I've seen the rise of internet, but I wasn't a big part of it. I was just a user of the internet, sending emails, having MSN chat. If you still remember MSN, you know, probably we are from the same era, right?
Yeah.
Right? MSN chat every day, you know. And then from that internet era, I saw the rise of online games. I was a part of the online games, but I wasn't a big player, but I made money from online games, which is very good, right? The rise of LAN games, online games, and then I saw the rise of mobile games. And then, of course, mobile games, back then, our analog games were replaced with today's smartphones gaming, which our smartphone is as powerful as our computers back then, right? So I saw all this rise every 5 to 10 years. There's a huge new opportunity for people to become rich, for people to become the next legend of a new industry. Blockchain and cryptocurrency will see a new batch coming up. I saw this whole rise. The people that became legend in the internet space are not legend in the mobile space, right? If you really look at the transition, each of these new beginning have its own group of millionaires and billionaires being born in one particular big industry. So, and I told my friend that, hey, thanks a lot for sending me that article. I'm going to print that article up and frame it up, man. I said, this would be my last path in my life for investment or even entrepreneurship. I told him, because this will be one market that is going to be huge, you know, and this will be one market that is going to give a lot of new people opportunities. This is the next internet era that I can see. And it is what is happening today, right? In cryptocurrency and in blockchain, you don't see our Google or Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg as the leader. The leader in the blockchain and crypto industry is another batch of guys, right? Vitalik Buterin and all these, they are the new ones. Okay, and if we look back into internet industry, I can just ask you back the question, Dinis. Can you name me 10 top internet multi-millionaires and billionaires? You can name more than 10, maybe even 100 if you sit down to write them down. Can you name, like, the games industry, 10 top billionaires and multi-millionaires? You can also name them if you are in that industry, right? Okay, and then today, you just have to name, okay, name me 10 that have reached the kind of godlike status such as Mark Zuckerberg in the blockchain industry. You probably could name 5, 6, 7. And these people are changing. So the market for blockchain and crypto industry is so interesting because the opportunity is right here today. It's restarting back again. Because if you move into the internet industry, there's no chance that you become the biggest guy there. If you move into games, unless you're very, very lucky, there's no chance of you to becoming number 1. But in blockchain, everything restarts back. Okay? New industries are being born on top of this industry itself. And new markets are being created, such as the DeFi market and so forth. So I really like this industry, and this will probably be my last industry that I'll be in.
Well, you did a fantastic achievement on that. So I want to talk. So from your discovering of Bitcoin and crypto and blockchain, how did you start getting in as an investor, as an entrepreneur, as someone that's been as well leading the game? Because you've been doing not only investment but as well doing a lot of things in the industry. So
actually,
if you could tell us.
Very good question. So I follow back the same DNA that I have, right? And what is the DNA that I have? Right when I was 21 years old, my first job, right? When I was selecting my first job, I selected a job that I can actually learn and acquire the business for myself. So, and then my success factor as an angel investor taught me that I know nothing about a lot of industry, you know, and my ideas are not the best of the best. There's a lot of people have great ideas, great technologies, great know-how. What is the best way to learn all this? Become an investor. That's why during my time as an entrepreneur, whenever I love to do what? I love to do one thing. Even that I do not need money, I love to go and meet investor. I love to pitch my project to investor. You know why? Because the investors are so smart that if you meet the right investor, every meeting that you had with them, you know something is wrong with your business model. You have to go back to the drawing board and readjust your business model, remold it so that it becomes much better. That was my path as an entrepreneur. I learned that by meeting right investors, it's not about getting the money. It's about getting a tip or two that could change your business model, that could perfect your business model. Okay, so in blockchain, I did exactly the same. I become an investor. I go meet everybody. You see? And from the time when I do not know anything about cryptocurrency, about blockchain, and I learned from a young guy that is now the CEO of my crypto exchange in Singapore, ABCC, right? He's now the CEO of my crypto exchange. His name is Alan, right? So Alan was introduced to me by a friend, and he is like 1990, 92, 93 guy back then, you know, 2016, 2017. And to me, I was like, shit, here is an investor with money and who is investing into blockchain, but yet I know so little about cryptocurrency. I know so little about blockchain that this young guy is teaching me everything, right? He's teaching me everything. So after learning everything for 1 year, and I, like anybody else, I thought I knew a lot. So let's launch my own crypto token and try it out. That was the time when I started to pitch back to other investors to see their feedback. But I found out that in reality, a lot of investors knows nothing about blockchain, you know?
Even
and
now.
I know much more than them.
Yeah.
And I know much more than them. But throughout the space, I've met people. I even have my first master, which until today, I still call him master. And whenever he wants to have dinner, it's always on me and so on. His name is Yogan, right? Very, very smart guy in the blockchain industry. So I learned a lot from all these people. Okay? There's no way that, you know, I'm coming from a totally different industry, the internet and mobile gaming industry, you know, and to learn blockchain, I really need the help of these people. So with their help, I fully knows what makes even the market ticks. Like, I give you a very good example. Let's say you want to launch an ICO campaign. You want to sell your token, which is the most important thing, right? You need to raise funding for your token. Raising money on the international stage and raising money for within China is a two different market, two different appeal that you need to appeal to them back then. Okay, so you need to know both market know-how. Of course, things is changing very fast in the blockchain industry. You got to keep abreast with it. Every quarter, there's the new stuff and so on. So that's why until today, I'm still investing and actively investing. Every month, we put money into 7 to 12 projects every month. Okay. So we do equity investment and we also do tokens investment. And both of the play is also different. Equity is a mid long-term play. Tokens is a short mid-term play. You have to have different strategies going into this.
Oh, that's impressive. You are a masterclass. So I want
not
to
really.
no, come on, this level of detail, because in the end, a lot of things people talk very top level, but they forget the details. And I think you go through the details, but you go as well in a very practical level. So from these investments that you're doing and from the trends that you've been seeing going, because of course, during your tenure and as well, the last 10 years, you've been creating a powerhouse of network, both in China, Hong Kong, but worldwide as well, because you have a global footprint. So what would be some of the highlights that you want to tell us for people listening to us about both Plutus VC, but as well your work as an investor and as well an entrepreneur? From a blockchain perspective, I mean, and crypto.
From a blockchain perspective, in what sense? In investing or in the trends?
No, for you, start with investing from your own portfolio. Some of the things
from my
that
own
you
portfolio,
are proud.
When investing, we look at things in a few different tier perspective. We look at first, we invest less, but put in more money, okay, in companies that we feel is not ready now, but in the future, right? In the future. So companies like Polkadot, you invested in them like 2.5 years ago, right? You had to put in 2.5 years ago, and then you just sit there and wait. There's nothing much you can do, right? There's no product, there's nothing, they're in development, you know, and you just wait. And 2.5 years later, you reap a 50x return, right? Companies like EOS did it in a different path. While they are in development, they launch the token first, right? And the token trades, the token fly, and the token drop back, and you wait 3 years before the token picks up again. This year, like a month and a half ago, we sold our EOS token, right? And that is a 3 years wait. That is a 3 years wait. So certain companies, you have to wait the long tier where we put in more money and then we wait. And there are some companies like NFTs. Today, we invest in a lot of NFTs companies. In fact, before this call, I was just on another call and the founder asked me, so Calvin, how much you want to put into my NFT project? I say, how much are you raising? He's raising 6 million. I said, how about 5%? And the guy was like, wow, that's good. And so on. So projects like NFT, we look at it as a short, mid-term play because this is what's hot in the market today. So I always tell some of my friends who want to get into the blockchain space and so on, I say, first, you really must have a good business model. Nothing beats a good business model. Nothing beats real business in blockchain, which is missing today. But if you are just coming in and you want to raise money, you know, well, it's the same for the internet industry, the mobile internet industry, the online games industry. If you really just want to raise money, ride on the wave, right? And what is the wave? What's popular now? What people are all talking about now? Ride on the wave. Okay, so my foray into this blockchain space, I've done some stablecoins projects, you know, in Hong Kong. Back in 2019, we raised 300 million US, launched a gold back token back then, right? But we didn't really launch the gold back token. We raised 300 million US, bought gold back in February, March 2019, which you can calculate the price. It was like 1,100 to 1,000, not more than 1,300 at that time. And then late last year, we sold all the gold away at $2,000, right? So we didn't need to launch the project. And it became a legend in Hong Kong that you guys did the project, but didn't even launch it and made money out of it. I probably, again, this is luck, you know, but it's all thanks to the LPs, the investors, you know. So we as the management company, which did the project and brought in the tech and so on, we listened to the LPs. The LPs like, hey, look, gold is moving up, the economy is bad, you know, and then pandemic hits in at the end of 2019. Let's just not launch and hold on to it. And then when gold is at a good price, let's sell it off. 1,008, 1,009, it's good profit. And the company makes money. That's the most important thing, right, in business. So we were calling that it was one of Hong Kong's biggest project because we launched the main event at the Hong Kong Stock Exchange main hall. About 700-800 people came for our launch. It was a big launch, but we really did not mint or issue the token out. We just bought gold. That's it, right? So that was one of the projects. And then back in 2019, I orchestrated, after the gold project, I orchestrated a meetup between friends from all over the world. I told them, look, I have some money, not a lot of money, but I would like to do something great. If all of you are blockchain and crypto guys, and we have the tier one, that's Vitalik Buterin, you know, and so on, all the big guys that have made billions market cap. And if you are tier 2 or tier 3, that means you have worked for these guys before, you fully understand what is blockchain, and if you are waiting for an opportunity, I have the money, pitch me the idea, I'll fund it, right? So been listening to a lot of all these ideas, and then you will find that, oh, this guy is suitable as a great CEO, but he doesn't have a good co-founder. Another guy is a good co-founder or COO level. Another guy is a CMO, but most of them are missing one piece here and there. And then I got fed up. I told all of them, I'm going to give you a plane ticket to every single one of you. Let's spend 1 week together in Hong Kong and we see what we can come up with, right? So that's the birth of Real DeFi, a project that is incubated and funded by me. And then from Real DeFi, then at the end of 2019, right? Then we saw there was an opportunity in DeFi. When we formed Real DeFi, we didn't really understand DeFi that deep, or at least me. Those guys that came from overseas, they fully understand DeFi. I told them that what is real business in blockchain? What is blockchain apart from the tokens going up? When people ask you, how does you make money from your blockchain and crypto project? You know, the most funny word that I heard from a lot of really good crypto entrepreneurs is that, well, my tokens price will go up and you make money, right? That's the theory about excuse me, that's the best part about the crypto market, right? How do you make money? My token price goes up, which is true. If we really look at all crypto projects in the market today, how many of them really have real business, right? Which one really have real business? So I can tell you that what is the real business in crypto and blockchain company? Of course, you can say Ethereum really have real business. Ethereum is the platform that everybody does the business on top of them. That's why everybody is paying gas fee, right? To Ethereum. At one time, I remember few months ago, I paid as much as a few $100 US for one transaction in gas fee. So shit, this is a real business, right? Ethereum is a real business by itself. It has real application, real use case on top of it. So apart from Ethereum, what else can you do in blockchain that is real business? Exchange, crypto exchange. Crypto exchange is a real business because people need the exchange to transact and so on. And when you launch a token, you need to list it on an exchange. So exchange, whether it's decentralized or centralized, is a real business. So apart from this, what else? And then I was introduced to this DeFi world back then. And we say that, yes, so apart from exchange, what else that is going to come that's going to be real application, real usage, that people can see real money? And that's finance. So let's do crypto blockchain business in finance back then, right? And then the CEO, James Anderson, says that that's DeFi. And I said, DeFi, yeah, decentralized finance. Okay, let's call the company Real DeFi, right? Back then, the first name, I wanted to call it Real Token. And then from then, because Real DeFi needs to be built, it's a protocol chain and so on. So it'll take time to build, right? So at the meantime, what can we do that is immediate, that have immediate effects, that can immediate results, that can show to people? And that's where Real DeFi incubated a project called MantraDAO. So MantraDAO and the Ohm token is all about staking back then. So MantraDAO is a huge success. It's a huge success. I dare say that it has one of the really good communities. They're really good at maintaining the communities and so on. Two of the founders, John and Will, which I've known them for many years, did a really good job in maintaining the MantraDAO business. Okay, so after MantraDAO, the latest one that I'm involved with, which that this company took 3 years in the making, and that's called Labs Group, right? So Labs is a partnership with 2 other friends of mine that's in Hong Kong. Yuan, who has been in the crypto industry for 3 over years, and then Patrick, which is also in the crypto industry for 3 years, and so on. Labs is property tokenization. Okay, it's all about taking properties and tokenize them, fractionize them, so that people can easily buy per square foot of the property. So Labs was launched. We recently we had a good success in Labs project. These are the projects that I mentioned. I'm directly involved in them. I put my face onto their website. Usually when I invest into any companies, I do not allow them to put my face there. Okay, so these are the projects that I'm fully like truly involved with them and so on. That I know that these are the projects that will be here 5 years from now. Okay, so many of the startup, as you know, startup world projects will disappear within 2 years, right? So these are the ones that I put my face on it, I put my reputation on it, that because I know that they'll be here. Like you can't go wrong with properties. Properties is one of the biggest asset class in the world. Okay, and I think they're making some announcement very soon, tokenizing an entire resort in Indonesia, and then after that they're going to go to Thailand and focusing really on resorts. And why resorts? Because the pandemic has destroyed a lot of resort revenues and so on. Is at an all-time low price now. But as we all know, you know, this pandemic will be over a year, 2 years from now. Okay, and resorts business will rise again. And resorts is property; it won't go away, right? It definitely won't go away. And the best part about resorts is that you have a fixed yield to it, right? Every year you make 4 or 5% from it and so on. So it's a good store of value as well. And we're bringing it into resort buying is only limited to rich people and so on. But with labs, today, everyone can afford a square foot of a resort. That's what labs is doing. So I'm doing stuff that is like what interests me in investing in cryptocurrencies. I love to invest in the trend. The trend is what makes most fast money, quick money, right? But what I put my face on is stuff that is very solid and long term. Slower money, but you'll be around for sure.
And that is very wise and very impressive. So from the companies you mentioned, so you have Rio DeFi, then you have ABC, ABC and MantraDAO. So, the exchange, and then you have as well Alice Live Inc., which you've been managing as well since 2017. So can you tell us, especially, probably you touch ABCC, you touch a bit Rio DeFi, can you touch about MantraDAO? And as well, because DAO, or decentralized autonomous organizations, is a big thing in crypto and blockchain.
Oh, that's the first one. That's the first one. MantraDAO is the first one that introduces the DAO method, decentralized autonomous organization, which whereby all the owners are actually token holders. Okay, all owners are actually token holders, and the token holders have a say in how you are going to mold your business or make decision in your business, right? So MantraDAO was the first DAO that we explore with, and it has been really successful. Like I say, the most important thing is about the community and your token holders. If you really need to treat the token holders right, okay? Because the token holders, even if they just invest $5 US to you, they own your company, right? They own the company. They have a say in the company. The voting process have to be transparent. So I feel that more and more DAO will be happening. And in fact, today there is, you can even do a legitimate and regulated DAO in the states of Wyoming. Wyoming basically has the framework whereby you can legally register a DAO.
So that's really impressive.
So DAO is still in its early days. You know, I think a lot of things will come into play as we move along.
No, very good. So in terms of, so I want to touch a bit just the DAO and then look at some of the trends, because of course you have access to a lot of trends in the industry and blockchain. And I know that you're passing to your 1 hour time. I want to be respectful of your time. So for someone that is in well, investment for the last years, and with a very solid footprint and a very solid portfolio, how do you see the DAO going between the different systems, especially being based as well in Hong Kong and China, which is very centralized? How do you see that?
Mhm.
How can you go around this? Because of course, if people right now, especially with what happened in the last weeks with China blocking crypto and so forth, this is creating a lot of issues. And I know that Hong Kong is very advanced market in terms of crypto, and regulation is more advanced. It's one of the most advanced in the world. So how do you see this? In one end, the decentralized, and as well in the other end, you as an entrepreneur that has to bridge all these different things. I think it's one thing that people are not touching, is how centralized systems are going to be touching the decentralized systems, because the two things are already happening, but very few people know how to work on this.
Mm. So I think three worlds will exist, right? You will always have the centralized world, you will always have the decentralized world, and you will always have the hybrid, which mixes the centralized world with the decentralized world, or the decentralized world with the centralized world. So we call it CeFi meet DeFi, or DeFi meet CeFi, and this is already happening. This is already happening as we speak today, that banks or financial institutions and so on wants to offer DeFi products to their customers eventually, right? So, I mean, traditional financial institution is feeling the pressure. In you put $1 million in your bank, you get less than 2% interest. You put $1 million US in USDT or USDC, and you stake it, you get to earn 4 to 8% interest. That's a huge difference. There's 4x difference. I will never put. I put all my money in stablecoins, and I earn all my yields from the blockchain. Okay. So even my private banker is asking me, hey, you can do more, put more money in. I say, look, there's two problems with it. One, if I ever put in my crypto money into the bank, you have to shut me down, right? So the next thing is that, and you're paying me less than 1% interest, unless I lock up my money for like three years and above. Then I get probably close to 2% interest. That doesn't excite me. Today, every 30 days, I can get a minimum, just close an eye, 4% per annum. That's the minimum. And you need not lock up for a long period of time, just 30 days. Right? That's really, the beauty.
It's very wise, very wise. But a lot of people don't know how to make this bridge. And I think I would like to touch this, because it's a big thing in crypto that people are struggling to understand, especially because you and me are on this, and we've been on this for a decade at least. But let's say there's only 3% in people in the world that are into crypto. And from this 3%, probably like 0.1% are people like us. So there's a lot of things to take this mainstream. So I would like to touch that, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, so going mainstream means DeFi meets CeFi, right? And that is what the people at Rio is doing. I'm not in the management. I'm just their investors, right? So that's what they are pushing forward. They are opening up avenues whereby the CeFi people can have the security of the CeFi, but allowing you to earn from DeFi. And this is not just them that are doing. There are a few others, visionary entrepreneurs, that are looking exactly into this space itself. Okay, and they truly want to open this up to the mass market. Right? Savvy crypto people, they will handle their own wallets themselves. And if you really want to maximize your earnings, every 30 days, you need to switch staking to maximize your earning. Right? So if you are just an uncle or auntie out there, you don't want to know, oh, so there's another new protocol that I can switch to make better earnings. There's another staking platform. But what if that one is a scam? What will happen? You see? So the key to all these new entrepreneurs, people like the James, Stefan, and Katerina, they are doing this that helps people creating a platform where they can trust. And the rest, they will do that for you. Every month, they'll do the switching for you to ensure that you have the highest use possible in the safest manner. I think this is a very, very key point, and that is safe. To a lot of non-crypto people outside there, they want to get involved, but they are worried, right? They're worried about the price volatility of Bitcoin. They are worried about, hey, if I lose my password, right? If I lose my password in the bank, I just have to walk in with my passport. Hello, give me back my account. You get back your account. If you lose your seed phrase in your wallet, you can pray to God, and God can't even help you with that. Your crypto is gone forever, right? Okay, so that's where CeFi meets DeFi, and DeFi meets CeFi, and that's where the growth market is. Right? Yeah, I truly believe in that. I truly believe in that because majority of the people, they like Bitcoin, but they want it safe. Right? If you are a company CFO, you tell the company, hey, look, I'm going to invest 5% of the company's holdings into Bitcoin, and the key is with me. And what if something happens to me? Sorry, man, your Bitcoin is gone. Right? So that cannot happen. That's why the next adoption would be all these big banks are coming in. Singapore DBS Bank is going to service this whole entire industry. And I'm sure after DBS, every single bank will have their saliva dripping at this market. Let's find a way to also go in. That is why you have non-stop acquisition of crypto custody company that is happening today, right? BitGo was acquired, and then recently, just yesterday or this morning, a company in Switzerland, Crypto AG, is acquired. And I think the next one will be my good friend, Alex, company probably will be acquired as well. Okay? And it will come from the big companies acquiring them because they need the know-how, the understanding of the blockchain and cryptocurrency industry.
No, and I think it's going to be, it's a good point. So as the last thing, and I of course I have a lot of questions. You've been a masterclass in a lot of different areas. So I want to touch, so in terms of big trends, and you mentioned that you are investing a lot in NFTs, and NFTs you touch as well the digital assets like property. You mentioned right now as well the resorts, which is a big thing because you can as well, for instance, you can tokenize resorts and create a lot of solutions. So I would like to see how you're seeing the NFTs and some of these more big trends when it comes to blockchain and DeFi and DAOs and so forth. So what do you see? You touched already some of them, but a bit like in a macro way, especially from the NFTs, which I know that is a big thing. Right now is a massive thing. It's probably the biggest thing because it's making blockchain mainstream. But at the same time, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. So I would like to have your views on that.
Like how? How do I look at NFTs?
How do you look at NFTs? Let's start with NFTs.
Okay, how do I look at NFTs? I think NFTs is a great thing. It has been around for some time. ERC 1155, 721. It has been around, but the real adoption just started. CryptoKitties was the first one. The cats, you can breed cats and make special cats out. That was just the beginning, but it was back then just a fact. It comes, it goes, right? And then it dies down. So now you start to see NFTs with real utilities. People are bringing arts into NFTs, right? People are bringing toys into NFTs. That means if you buy this particular toy here, okay, you get an NFT version with it. So what is that NFT version of it? It acts like a certificate of authenticity to your toy. And it must go together to say that this is not a replica or this is not a copy version and so on, because it comes with the NFT that proves that this is the real thing. So NFTs keep changing. I think there's huge potential in music for NFT. You know, Apple changed the world of music with iTunes. Okay, Apple changed the whole world of music with iTunes, and then Spotify changed the world of streaming music. Who would have thought that streaming music is a multi-billion-dollar business, right? Nobody would have thought. Everybody wants the music to be downloaded onto my iPod and so on. But streaming music proved differently, right? Today, streaming music is gaining grounds and so on. And I think NFT for music is the next big thing. If you really ask me, that is a figure. There is almost 60,000 songs or music being created every day. Every day, 60,000 songs or music being created, right? So this market needs new channels, new avenues to come in. And it also, NFT for music helps create, you know, new musicians, funding new musicians and so on. Okay? The investment area have changed. When blockchain and crypto comes in, right? It changed the world. It changed the world. So before, when you have a company, you would look for big VCs. Of course, today you still look for big VCs, right? But today there is a chance to raise money from the market, and the people comes in via the token sales. This is changing the investment landscape, and I truly believe venture capital firms, venture funds are going to adapt to this new market. Okay, they're going to adapt to this market. Already, I know many venture capital firms are moving into this area or already moved into this area. Okay, so I think NFT is going to move into every single thing, and eventually you will even see. I can't say this. I've signed a strict NDA on this one.
Yeah.
So I'll skip this one. I'll skip this one because I signed a strict NDA on it. But you will see NFT in finance, right? NFT in finance. You definitely see this coming soon. Okay, so, and there's also another saying. So we always have to say the positive stuff, and how about let's look a little bit at the gray area of stuff. So why is NFT suddenly so popular, and every crypto groups and so on is pushing this, the whales are pushing this and so on. So we have the world of ICO back in 2017, and then we talked about FTO, but it did not happen. And then very briefly, there were IEOs, right? If you remember IEOs, initial exchange offering, you have IEOs, and then we talk about IDOs today, right? Today we talk about IDOs today, and then so every 6 months, this industry needs something new to convince it is alive. So the people, the whales playing this big industry, right? NFT, let's make NFT huge so that people have the belief to continue the next wave. Okay.
No, impressive, and you're completely right. And I think this is going to be, we have to go through all these waves. So I'm conscious that we pass a bit of the time, and I think I have a lot of questions, but I'll probably probably get it for a second round. I would love to continue talking about this. I want to be respectful to your time. So I want to thank you. It's been a masterclass, actually. I love the way you look at VC and the angel investing. And I think the practicalities, but as well the knowledge. And I think a lot of great examples, like you mentioned, about learning with people that know and keep evolving. Because I think you had 2 failures, but you have a lot of success. And of course, no one only this success. In the end of the day, the life of an entrepreneur is about how to manage failure and success. And the failure, normally you learn a lot, even if it's painful. So I want to thank you,
Yes.
Calvin. We're going to put links to all your different ventures during the interview, and as well in the different platforms that are going to be.
Yeah, sure. It's a
so any
public
last
information.
Things? Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Any last things or any ideas you want to just suggest, or where people can contact you? I know that you quite a busy person, but any things that you want to highlight, especially from your projects or from things that you want to at the last?
Well, if anybody have a great idea, you need somebody to fund it, look for me, Calvin at Plutus.vc.
I think you're a generous person.
Thank you.
And I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Calvin. It's been
nice
a
chatting
huge
with you,
honor.
Dinis.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.